This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed.
In what?
I feel like my dreams have been dashed.
Well, that happened a long time ago.
No, I mean, yeah, but then I thought I could get my mojo back by
and become
introducing...
a Major League Baseball designated hitter. Tim, I've told you that those days have passed.
Tom, you never listen to me. I think I could be a good knuckleball pitcher. I just have to get really strong.
That, yeah.
If I could get strong enough,
right?
Just get the arm strength. I think I could pitch well into my 50s and 60s.
Well, and if you were only looking to, get the arm strength up to be a pitcher, you'd only have to work on one arm. So presumably you could do it in half the time.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I also wanted to, get things moving for me by introducing my signature sandwich, the Timbo, and really have it widely adopted. And I will say, at first, I was heartened by the response. I was getting a lot of pictures of people who made the Timbo.
Have the death threats started coming in? Have you been doxxed over the Timbo yet?
The Timbo?
Yeah.
No, I think it's brought joy and delight to the people who went out there and made it. Mm-hmm. However, it seems like the chatter has really died down. So I'm bringing it up again here because I feel like we don't do a lot of follow-ups on this show.
No.
And I just wanted to follow up, hey, the Timbo is still a really innovative, exciting sandwich.
That's not for you to say. It's for others to say.
I know, and I want people to try it out. So here. It's potato bread.
Mm-hmm. And now that's just potatoes that you smash into bread shape?
No, they sell it at the store. It's potato bread. It's in
the with the rest of the vegetables?
It's bread mashed up with potatoes.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Add some water and make a little slurry out of it, and then they put that in the oven, I think. Then it's American cheese, caramelized onions, pickled jalapenos, some shredded Mexican cheese. I use a Mexican blend. And now originally on the outside, and it's grilled up on a griddle.
Right.
Originally I was using mayo. I think butter. I think you want to use butter now. Okay. And look, it's constantly being iterated. Somebody reached out and said, hey, how about instead of caramelized onions, pickled onions?
Right, and you screamed at them.
I love pickled onions, Tom.
Ugh.
But pickled onions and pickled jalapenos, what is this, a freaking pickle sandwich? What is this, the Pickle Town?
Yeah.
Do you think Timbo's the mayor of Pickle Town? Well, he's not. So, sorry, I tried it. It doesn't work. You don't like pickled onions, Tom?
I don't know if I've ever had them. I like pickles a lot. I don't like... I like pickled jalapenos, but I don't like anything else that's pickled, I think.
Tom, pickle up some onions. I think you'd like them. Red onions.
Oh, I've had
pink.
Pickled onions. Yeah, I'm not real into them.
Why not, though?
I don't know. I just don't like it.
Everybody's such a baby. Nobody likes to try new things.
I've tried them, and I'm telling you, I don't like them.
I'm putting together a landmark sandwich. Like maybe 10 people made it and tried it. I'm giving it to the world. I mean, 650,000 people a day listen to this podcast, and 10 of them make the sandwich.
Yeah.
And
then you get
disgusting.
Mad. You get mad at everybody else who doesn't, and you expect them to just blindly follow you no matter what you tell them to eat.
I understand. Or if there's some sort of religious restriction that prevents you from eating the Timbo sandwich, that's fine. I will respect that. But everybody else, what's your goddamn excuse? There's a pandemic. You got to make all your own food anyway. These are all readily available ingredients. What are you doing?
You think
It's my dream.
You think religions out there have already put the Timbo sandwich on their list of things you can't eat?
Maybe. I mean, it can be controversial because it is so extreme and so cool. Because all the people that have tried it and liked it have been like cool, young, hip kids.
Right.
So that scares like pastors and stuff. Like, oh, we want to wrest the influence back from the Justin Biebers of the world.
And that's the group you put yourself in with the Justin Biebers of the world.
Yeah. Or I mean myself, yeah. And other enthusiasts of the Timbo sandwich.
Well,
Tom,
what?
Why won't you try the sandwich?
Laziness. I can't eat bread during the day anymore. If I do, I go to sleep. Well, at night, Tim, I'm usually having a 5-star meal. Professionally prepared by my in-house chef. So
your girlfriend usually makes dinner, is what you're saying.
And I'm not going to tell her, hey, you got to make this lowbrow sandwich.
This innovative, exciting, paradigm-shifting sandwich.
I mean, look, Tim, it's basically a grilled cheese sandwich, and you claim to have invented it. All right, if we're really gonna mince words, not mince words here, Tim.
I'm not saying it's not a grilled cheese sandwich.
You're expecting an awful lot of. You're basically saying, look, I told everybody to make a grilled cheese sandwich, and I'm not being praised enough for it.
It's not that I'm not being praised. I'm open to criticism. I mean, people reached out.
All right, well, here's my criticism, Tim. It's a grilled cheese sandwich, and you're acting like you invented the wheel.
Well, first of all, what's wrong with the grilled cheese sandwich?
What's wrong with the wheel? Nothing, but it's already out there. You can't invent it again. You can't reinvent the wheel. That's Winston Churchill said that.
Yeah. He advised very strongly against it. Tom, another follow-up. Are you still taking a nap every day during the day?
I'm trying not to, and that's why I'm not eating bread.
What do you eat for lunch?
Well, nowadays, Tim, I'm eating a new thing that I don't want to mention the name of it because I don't want to give them free advertising.
Is it the Timbo sandwich?
It's not the Timbo sandwich. It's like a shake. Like a shake that I make with powder.
Like a Nutrisystem?
Yeah, it's not that, but it's something, it's similar to something like that.
Is this something you learned about on the Joe Rogan podcast?
No, Tim, it's something that I got a Reddit ad about.
So you buy a powder that you make into a shake?
Powder. And I make it into a shake, and then I have that for lunch. And it's pretty good because this isn't like this particular, there's a million of these things out there. This one isn't like about weight loss. It's about like just being like a nutritionally complete meal.
So it's Soylent?
No, it's not Soylent either. So it's just got like a lot of, nutrients and stuff in it, and it tastes pretty good. And I don't have to take a nap after I eat it.
So no more 3-hour nap every single day of your life. It's the end of an era.
Think about how much more I'll get done now.
Do you find yourself being more productive?
Yeah, a little bit. Because I can have this in the morning as well, and I do that sometimes.
Wait, you have a shake for breakfast and lunch?
Yeah, and then a sensible dinner.
Wow. You're freaking Tommy Lasorda over here.
How dare you? Yeah, no, and it's nice because then I don't feel like full, but I don't feel hungry, but I have some energy. That's all. It's a normal thing to do. It's fine.
I don't think it's a normal thing.
What do you have for lunch every day? You have a Timbo sandwich every day, hoping it's going to catch on? Hoping your wife's going to say, what is that, not a grilled cheese you're making?
She hasn't had the Timbo sandwich yet.
Why not?
The
Is that her choice or yours?
The timing hasn't worked out. It's
her choice or her? Oh,
why would it be my choice?
So I don't know.
I forbid you to eat.
Yeah,
this
that sounds like something you would say to your wife.
Does it? It doesn't sound like something I would say to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you so much, Tom. I hate doing this show.
I mean, from what I remember before the pandemic, you're always slapping food out of your wife's hand.
Tom, don't say things like that. Tom, this must have been a very exciting week for you.
Why is that?
Seeing as video games were in the news.
Video games are always in the news, Tim.
The news that you read. I drink shakes for every meal and spend all my time watching Joe Rogan videos on YouTube.
I don't spend all my time. Although I will say, the other day, like I posted a thing on Instagram stories of there was some like recommended YouTube video that was like talking about how Brexit was going to make fish and chips more expensive. And, I like a joke about that. And I realized...
Did you have a joke about it, or did you just post the picture?
I posted the picture, and I said something like, is this the last straw? The idea that finally enough people in England would be like, oi, me fish and chips is costing more.
Right.
I won't...
You don't like those people.
I won't put up with it anymore. I won't. But I had to crop the photo because I realized there was a Joe Rogan episode recommended underneath that. Well, because I had been watching, I had watched a video of like all these like UFC knockouts, so I brought it on myself. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I have known you for a very long time, Tom, and we were roommates for, 10 years probably?
Not
10 years.
that long, but a while.
6 or 7 years?
Yeah, like 3 different apartments. 4?
Yeah.
3.
And I have no idea what your day is like. Or
Good. I'd like to keep it that way.
You've really become a straight-up maniac.
I wake up 3:30 in the morning.
Have a shake, go back to bed.
I call it a sleep shake.
Tom, speaking of Instagram, have you ever gone through a thing where whenever you get an ad on Instagram, you report it for either being sexually explicit or spam or something?
No.
You should do that. They start serving you some really weird ads.
I already get plenty of weird ads, believe me.
Yeah, just report every ad. Listen, to the listener, just report every single ad you see on Instagram. It turns everything crazy.
Well, why? Does it think you're like a real prude?
I was just mocking you for the way you live your life. And I'm eating elevated grilled cheese sandwiches and reporting every Instagram ad I see.
Tom, I don't know how you live your life. When all I talked about was like trying to eat healthier and posting a joke online.
No, watching UFC knockout
I
videos.
spend 3 hours a day reporting all the ads I see.
It's not 3 hours a day. It takes 2 seconds. Anyway,
yeah.
GameStop was in the news, and you love video games.
I do love video games, but I don't love GameStop. I'll tell you that much.
Ooh. Are you trying to drive down the stock price because you've shorted it?
Yep. I'm one of the hedge fund managers that shorted GameStop, and it's a very influential podcast. So if I say I'm not a fan of, that's all I have to say. And good luck, SEC, trying to convict me based on that.
Yeah, be a sell-off frenzy. We were gonna do this episode about like day trading or something. This is a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about that stuff.
No, I was trying to look up like interesting facts about stocks and stuff. And there are no interesting facts about stocks. All the interesting facts are like, oh, did you know this is the most expensive stock? Did you know one time somebody bought this much of this stock? It just nothing interesting at all. The only thing, I have a few things that I found interesting. One,
Tom on stocks, baby.
One, I read an article a couple of weeks ago about how in the London financial district, they busted like a huge weed growing operation that was going on because nobody's in the financial district during lockdown.
Ah.
And apparently, if you walked around the financial district, you would be like, it smells like weed around here. And that was because there was just like a gigantic building being used to grow cannabis plants.
And the normal smells of the stockbrokers weren't there to
No, it was just
mask.
They wouldn't have
weeds.
done it there normally because there's too many people. But since it was a ghost town, somebody got the bright idea to grow a bunch of weed there. Then I was looking up things about Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha.
Cheeseburger in paradise.
No, you're thinking of his brother, Jimmy Buffett. This is Warren. I'm sorry, his son, Jimmy Buffett. This is Warren Buffett.
Man, if Warren Buffett had a son that wound up like Jimmy Buffett, he'd be so disappointed. No, Jimmy Buffett isn't. You know what? I'm sick of people thinking that Jimmy Buffett is some like laid back.
Oh, no
cool,
way. Jimmy Buffett's
party
a capitalist businessman. He's got restaurants, he's got beer. He's
got all these parrot heads fooled though. They all think he's cool and chill.
Yeah. Well, he realized he got in early on the like fleecing boomers game. And realized like, oh, I can just pitch myself as just like a cool, not anti-capitalist, but like a, hey man, forget all your worries and come on down to paradise, and it only costs you $150 to do that.
The thing that bothers me is that boomers are getting fleeced, but by other boomers. So all that is just staying in the boomer community.
Yeah.
We need to figure out a way for younger generations to fleece the boomers. And I think that's coming. I think like reverse mortgages and stuff. But
so far, the only one that's done it, he's done a very good job, is Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And he just took it all for himself. And he said, not only am I going to fleece them, I'm going to make them all crazy.
Yeah, my only idea to fleece boomers was like in 2006 or 2007 when I was like, I'll start a business that will put all CDs on somebody's iPod.
Oh yeah,
because they can't figure it out themselves. Then I decided that was too much work. I can't work an honest day.
Warren Buffett. Here's my problem with guys like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett and freaking Bill Gates. These guys are like famous for being philanthropists now. Warren Buffett is still the fourth richest man in the world, and he's 90 years old. Hey, buddy, you were going to give away all your money before you died? How long are you expecting to live?
Well, is he planning on doing it before he dies?
He said before and upon his death.
Yeah.
But then he also
His
said...
son Jimmy Buffett must be pissed about that.
He said, to date, about 20% of my shares have been distributed. But then in parentheses, including shares given by my late wife, Susan Buffett. Well, it's like, well, no, that doesn't count. Those are hers.
Right.
But anyway, that just made me mad. Same thing with like Bill Gates, famous for being a philanthropist right now. He's richer than he's ever been.
I think that is the argument that needs to be made when people are like, the system's not right.
Yeah.
Because that guy, Bill Gates, retired 20 years ago.
Yeah. And has been full-time giving away his money.
Giving away money as fast as he can, and he's still richer than he's ever been. And in the 90s, he was unfathomably rich.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was like by far the richest guy in the world.
Like, is that a system where it's like, okay, and then you stop working and you give it all away, but somehow you just get more and more for not working?
Well, I think honestly the problem is, and this guy's a real jerk, but Elon Musk recently tweeted about like how it's hard. He's currently, I think, the richest man in the world. It's between him and Bezos. But he tweeted about how looking for good causes because it's hard to like giving away the money is harder than you would expect. And like that does kind of make sense to an extent where it's like, oh, if you want to give away like $50 billion, you would have to like start an organization. And then it's like, well, now I'm paying all these administrative fees. Like there's not a way to just be like, I want to send everyone in America a $10,000 check.
Why can't he?
I don't know. I guess he probably could. Maybe he should. Maybe he should think about doing that.
Why won't he? I guess is the question.
Yeah. But also like reading about like, this Warren Buffett, like the giving pledge. It's like, and Warren Buffett does speak out about this to give him credit. The giving pledge is like to give away half your wealth during your lifetime or upon your death. It's like, well, how about taxes? How about taxes take that 50%? Then you wouldn't have so much to give away and we'd be able to, do. And look, the government.
Buy fighter jets.
Well, that's the problem. The government's not very good at handling, distribution of funds either.
Yeah, but they say that's because there's no money.
Right.
We give them half of all these guys money.
Right.
Then let's see.
Then they just build like double-decker fighter jets and crazier things. Then they'd be like, finally, we have enough money to start the Skynet project.
You don't think they've started that already, Tom?
They do, but they just don't have enough money to build the exoskeletons yet. But if Warren Buffett started giving them more money, they'd be like, great, we're going to put this money right into exoskeletons. Your nation thanks you.
I was reading Alex Trebek's book, and at least he was like upfront about this. He like started a foundation because he was a rich guy. Mm-hmm. And the way he wrote about it is like his accountant was always like, you should start a charitable foundation. And like that, he's like, I'll just donate my money or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there's a lot of money. How about, and you can do this if you're a rich guy. They're like, you start a foundation. Are you sick of giving your money to the government and they decide how to spend it?
Yeah.
Like for the same price, you can start your own charitable organization and you get to dictate that. It's just like, yeah, but that's not how it should work.
Right.
There needs to be somebody figuring all this out, not just like, I like pandas. Okay, so I can set this up so I don't have to pay money to the government anymore, and I can just give all my money to pandas, and that's allowed.
Right. Instead of like fixing the pipes in my city so people don't get lead poisoning, I want, pandas to be saved. But I will also say in Warren Buffett's defense, and then we'll move off Warren Buffett, in an interview, he claimed that he himself is 1/4 Coca-Cola, and that if he eats 27...
So are you, Tom.
If he eats 20...
on account of all the Coca-Cola that you drink.
He said, if I eat 2,700 calories a day, which is a lot for like an old man, he always struck me as like not very tall or anything either. Anyway...
you would know.
A quarter of that is Coca-Cola. I drink at least 5 12-ounce servings. I do it every day. And then for breakfast, he often frequents McDonald's for a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit if the market is up, or an austere 2 sausage patties if the market is down. On most days, Buffett will visit his beloved Dairy Queen for an ice cream dessert. And people talk about like, oh, he's so humble. It sounds like he's living a pretty great life.
Yeah, that's pretty humble, though.
Well, easy for you to say, Tim. I guess if you're a billionaire and you can go to McDonald's and Dairy Queen every day and have 5 Coca-Colas.
You see, this is why nobody thinks that things are on the up and up. This guy's going to McDonald's and Dairy Queen every day and drinking 3 gallons of Coca-Cola, and he's 90 years old.
Yeah.
But the standard American diet kills everybody else, but usually before their 70th birthday.
Yeah. I don't know. He's found the secret, and the secret is being a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. But I think everybody's like, there's... so there's treatments that he has access to that I don't have access to.
Well, and also...
That one man tried to eat, Morgan Spurlock tried to eat McDonald's every day when he was like 30.
Yeah, but that was exaggerated, and that guy's a creep.
I mean,
there's that guy who eats Big Macs for every meal, and he's skinny as a rail.
yeah, but he barfs it up or something.
He doesn't barf it up. I think his body is just attuned to only accept Big Mac nutrients.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Special sauce really, his body processes special sauce in such a way.
Yeah.
It's like you and your shakes.
His liver breaks down the special sauce and makes it into, I don't know, amino acids or something that his body needs. My other thing with Warren Buffett is like, he's famously like, oh, he's been living in the same house in Omaha since 1958. Like, he doesn't have any extravagances and stuff. And my thing is, then why the hell are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, as ridiculous as it is when you see the way some of these billionaires spend their money, at least I'm like, that'd be cool. Yeah, if I had billions of dollars, it'd be pretty cool to have that giant boat. It's not like, it'd be pretty cool to just live in my old house. And it's like, well, then why am I killing myself making all these billions of dollars?
Yeah, why don't you stop? Why don't you
stop and just give it all away and be like, I'm going to give away everything except, $1 million that I'm going to keep in case I live 10 more years. So I can live those 10 years comfortably in this house that's already paid for. And yeah, I'm just going to give away all my money. Anyway, if Warren Buffett's listening, give me all your money. I'll find a way to give it away.
What would you do? Would you if you got Tom $50 million tomorrow?
$50 million?
$50 million. Mm-hmm. How much of that, and like the post taxes, right? So in your bank account, how much of that immediately would you give away?
Probably none immediately. Like I would really have to, I'd like hire a money manager and like.
Within the first year or two, how much would you give away?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it.
You and I are sitting here talking a real big game about like, if you have a lot of money, you should give most of it away.
Look, I didn't
but like,
have.
Even in this absurd scenario where we get a huge lump sum of money, I don't know. I'm not willing to commit to giving any of it away.
Well, I guess that's basically the answer I'm giving. And my reasoning would be, well, I used to not have $50 million, so I'd like to keep $50 million now. Thank you.
Just to see what it feels like. I'm not even going to spend it. Just what it feels like to walk around with $50 million in
my pocket. Yeah. Which actually reminds me of, I think, one of the only interesting facts that I found about stock market. 3 Wall Street executives won the Powerball lottery in 2011.
Why were they playing?
The $254 million jackpot was larger than the $82 million their small investment firm managed. That's a real, I don't know. Is that a Dear John story? Is that a Shaggy Dog story tale? What is that? That's something.
What are you talking about?
That's some kind of a O. Henry story or something.
You're thinking of Dear John letter, which is when somebody leaves their spouse when they
leave a letter.
So that's not what that is.
I
don't know. Maybe one of those guys left a Dear John letter.
Maybe he left it to his firm, and he just said, "Hey, we're not going to manage any of this money anymore because guess what? I got to manage my own money now."
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't understand people who have a lot of money and then are just like, yeah, well, working fulfills me. No. Like, if you have enough money to live the rest of your life, stop doing work.
Yeah, go hang out with Jimmy Buffett. Have a Mai Tai with a little umbrella on it at the beach. Yeah. That's what I'd be doing with all 50 million of my dollars that I'm not giving anybody a damn penny of, including the government.
Okay, enough frivolity.
Yeah, let's get down to GameStop. Let's get down to games, baby.
Can I just say real quickly about Wall Street, Tom? I, like you, am bored. I can't find any interesting facts about Wall Street. But then whenever I read about Wall Street for more than 3 minutes, I just get so blind with rage.
Yeah.
That it's just impotent rage.
Well,
and
so
sadness.
So what's going on right now with GameStop is one of those things, which is why there's been kind of a backlash. And now, do you understand it? Because I can explain it to you. I think I now understand it.
I mean, I understand it. I'm wary of spending too much time on this, especially since we're recording this on Thursday, and since Tuesday, this story has gone through a trillion iterations.
Yeah.
So this story will look nothing like this when this episode comes out, and also everybody's gonna be so sick of friggin' hearing about this.
So the basics, though, in the beginning, for anybody that doesn't understand, who isn't a stockbroker like me, man, that's the other thing. This is one of those episodes where, like, not only are we going to get, correction sent to us by people, we're going to get correction sent to us by some of the worst people out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, already with the clickbaity title that this episode has, and none of these people are still listening, but this is good for... 31-star Apple reviews about
probably.
we talked about the grilled cheese sandwich for 10 minutes.
Yeah, people are gonna short this podcast. So basically, this giant hedge fund was shorting a stock, which is crazy that it's allowed, because basically it is somebody saying, "Hey, I think this stock's gonna go down." So the way I can make money off of that is I can borrow the stock, not buy it, borrow it from somebody, immediately sell it to somebody else at the price. So say it's $15. I'm going to borrow it, sell it to somebody for $15. Now I've got 30 days before I got to give that stock back. And I'm basically betting that within those 30 days, the stock's going to go down. And when it's $7, I'll be able to buy it for $7, hand it back to the person I borrowed it from and go, "Here you go, sir, the stock I borrowed from you," and keep the difference.
Right.
And now the problem, I
think that was like 70% correct, but good enough. It's betting that a stock is going to go down.
Right. But it's betting, but then it's also borrowing that stock. And now the two other things going on here is when hedge funds take a big position doing this, then it is in their interest to make that stock go down, which they can do through various manipulations. So they're betting against companies, and companies like GameStop and Toys R Us and stuff, these kinds of companies that are like on the ropes. And like, of course, they're almost certainly going to fail. These people come in and basically speed up that happening.
Right.
By forcing the stock to go lower and lower. Now,
and enriching themselves in the process.
Yes. And now what, and like, basically ripping off people.
These are the job creators we're talking about, hastening the demise of businesses.
Well, and they're basically ripping off other people who are looking at the stock, rationally and saying, okay, yeah, this based on the earnings per share, this company is worth about $15 a share. That seems like a fair price, or maybe I think they're worth $20 a share. So I'm going to buy a 15. Unbeknownst to me, there's going to be billions of dollars at play, making it so that this company continues to be devalued. And I don't know that buying my $15 shares, and I get screwed. I get screwed because I bought a share for $15. Somebody borrowed it from me without me knowing, forced it to go down so they could buy it cheaper, and then handed it back to me. Tom,
I think that's probably less than 70% correct, but
most facts are. I
just want these Wall Street guys to address the emails to you, not to me.
And basically what happened on Reddit was, there was basically a subreddit where day traders hang out or whatever. And for various reasons, including, these are not necessarily, unselfish reasons. people decided to start buying GameStop stock to drive the price up, with the idea of screwing over these people who, are about to have to buy a bunch of shares to give them back. And now if the shares are higher, you're going to have to buy them when they're higher, and then you're going to lose money. Yeah. And also, the idea of a lot of these people was, also, we're going to drive up the stock so that when we sell it, we're going to make ourselves rich. Now, the problem there is GameStop is not worth $400 a share or whatever it's at. And people are going to be caught holding the bag because the people now that are like, oh, I heard about this, let me get in on this. They're the ones who are going to be buying GameStop for $400. And the next day it's going to drop down to $5 and they're going to lose out.
Right. And then also if all these Reddit folks are looking to get rich and not own stock and flip stock necessarily, right? Because back in the day, didn't like our grandparents like buy stock and then they held on to it and they were proud to have that stock?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't trading, it was investing. It was, I think this is a good company. I think it's going to continue to grow and make money. So I would like to own a piece of that company.
Yeah. But if all these Reddit people are like...
and receive dividends, and then when I sell it in 30 years, it'll be worth a lot more than I bought it for.
Right. All the people that bought it based on trying to get rich off the Reddit thing. Like, if they all, like, assuming 90% of those people that drove up the price, if they're like, okay, now time to get out, let's sell it all, wouldn't that just drive the stock back down and making the short position of this hedge fund the correct position and profitable for that hedge fund?
No, because the hedge funds, I think they had like a 30-day short order or something.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I mean, you could
I didn't want to talk about this. Anything I say makes me sound stupid.
You could short the stock now and probably make out like a bandit. But who knows? Who knows? Because the other part of this, which I don't think we have time to get into, is that like all these retail stock sites like Robinhood and E-Trade and stuff, they all stop people from being able to buy the stock. Which is kind of messed up.
Yeah, thus constraining the amount that the stock could actually rise. If more and more people are interested, they can come in, right? If there are less avenues to buy that stock, the less opportunity it is for that stock price to become more valuable. Right.
And it's not, the market, the freezing the stock and saying like, all right, well, there's external conditions here. This is, these companies saying, well, no, that's not what this is meant to. Our company isn't meant to screw over these brokerage firms. It's meant to enrich them. So we can't be a part of this.
So you ever see that a company is publicly traded and you're just like, there was a used video game store that like did an IPO at some point and everybody was like cool with that?
I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
GameStop just always seems so depressing.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised that it still exists and that the stock wasn't already trading for pennies.
Right.
Especially in the midst of a global pandemic.
Right. You know what, Tom, it's time. Look, this is not an opportune time for me to say this, but isn't global pandemic redundant? Isn't pandemic the whole world?
Yeah.
We've all been saying global pandemic for the last friggin' year.
Yeah.
And it's been wrong. And this is the first time I'm calling it out. It's not.
Well, you're a brave man, Tim. Consider me thoroughly humiliated.
Good. And I'll stop doing this stuff if you just eat the sandwich. You don't have to rave about it. You don't have to endorse it. I just want your honest feedback.
All right, I'll eat it. I'll eat a grilled cheese sandwich.
You can take a nap. I mean, it's more than a grilled cheese sandwich, to be clear.
Not much more, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more. It's very specific in a lot of different ways.
Well, I was going to say, to speak about GameStop, the reason why I would be very bearish about GameStop, do I sound like Jim Cramer from Mad Money?
Tom, you say that sarcastically, but there was a time in the early aughts that you got really into Jim Cramer.
Yeah. It was like when I first heard about him, where I was like, this guy's great.
You were like, he's the only one of those guys that makes his portfolio public.
Yeah.
So you can see that he put his money where his mouth is. And it's like, I don't know. And then you also bought Tim Ferriss books in bulk.
I didn't buy them in bulk. Anyway, the reason why GameStop is going to continue to do badly is that out of, the new Xboxes and the new PlayStations, there are two models of the new Xbox, two models of the new PlayStation. One of each of those models, the less expensive models, don't have a disk drive, don't have a way to put Blu-ray discs inside there. The reason being, they want you to buy the games online. And not only is that easy for most consumers, at least like when you're buying a brand new game the day it comes out, wherever you buy it, it's going to be $60. You can buy it on your console and it's going to download. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to wait for a delivery man or anything. But also, like Sony and Microsoft, they're then taking that entire $60 if it's a game they publish that they made. They're not splitting it with GameStop. They're not having to pay for a disc to be burnt or printed and like boxes printed and shipped.
Vertical integration or horizontal integration. So some sort of integration.
Some kind of integration. So it is in Microsoft and Sony's best interest to phase out disk drives as quickly as possible. And they kind of don't even have to try that hard because there are a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, that's fine. I don't want, I can buy this system for $100 or $200 less without a disk drive. That's great because I never use a disk drive because I don't leave my home. I just buy it all digitally.
But what about used games, Tom?
Well, but that's the thing. Used games, and that's really GameStop's bread and butter. So if Microsoft and Sony stop making systems with disk drives altogether, then they're out of business. They can't. And now,
but that's bad for the consumer. I want to buy all my games used.
It is. Although if you're buying your games used from GameStop, you're a real knucklehead because...
Tom, I went and bought a Switch from Best Buy a couple of years ago now, I guess.
Yeah.
And on the walk home from Best Buy, a different Best Buy, not the one that we met outside that
not the famous Best Buy.
I passed a GameStop, and I was like, well, let me see what they have in here. And
like, well, me, a video game man, should go into this place.
Yeah, and I think the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild... used copy that they had was more than the new copy over at the Best Buy.
Yeah, that's what they're kind of famous for. That, if you had a copy of that Breath of the Wild and you went in there and you were like, hi, I want to sell this to you, they'd be like, this is worth $3 in store credit. We'll give you $3 in store credit. And then they will promptly put it back up on the display for $5 less than it costs new. Which is like a pretty good business to have, but it's, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever bought anything from a GameStop.
The other thing about the only time I ever stepped foot in a GameStop, I think, which was that time, I felt so uncomfortable. I felt like the people there were mad at me, like they could tell I didn't belong there, or they just didn't want anybody in the store.
Well, I was going to say the other big problem with GameStop is, so like if somebody goes in there and buys a new game, they basically make like nothing off of that, because for the reasons I explained earlier, it's like there's no margins. Why would
they're getting squeezed?
Yeah, why would Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo give them any kind of margins? They don't really have to. So you go in there, you buy Zelda, they may be making $3 off that. So as a result, they are heavily incentivized to try and sell you on like a rewards club membership to sign up for, which is going to be, you know, a reoccurring subscription, sign you up for, or get you to sell them games or get you to pre-order a game. And
is that a place where they always try to get your phone number or your address?
Yeah.
And just buy a thing for like $35. And
Yep.
you're like, no,
you buy it for $5. You buy,
Yeah.
I think I have maybe bought, I'm trying to remember. Like I feel like maybe, and this might be like a while ago, but I bought something that was very cheap, like another controller or something. I was desperate. And they tried to get me to pre-order like 10 different games. I'm like, no, I don't want to pre-order any games. Like, I just want to. And also, it's like, you don't have to pre-order games anymore. They make enough games now that you can get a game when it comes out. But they want you to pre-order just to get you to come in again so they can try and sell you something else.
Yeah. Is that a thing that like we're the last generation that will remember what it was like to go buy something and not give your phone number? Because like, and so like we bristle at it a little bit.
Yeah.
But because like whenever I'm buying something and the cashier is like under 25 and they're like, okay, that'll be like, you know, whatever, $20, and I'll give them a card and they'll be like, okay, and your phone number? And I'll always just go like, oh no.
Yeah.
And they're always like, yeah, but what's your phone number?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, I'm not going to give you my phone number. And they're just like,
no, I gave you money for this. I don't need to give you personal information.
The transaction's over.
Yeah.
But I think it's become so ubiquitous that everybody's just like, oh yeah, that's part of it. You just give your phone number. You give them your personal information when you buy the pair of socks at the Gap.
Well, I'm not nasty to cashiers like you are, so I usually.
Oh yeah, really?
I just say, "Oh no, thank you," which actually seems to throw people off more, because it's like, "Well, no, I'm not offering to give you something. I need something from you."
I used to ask first. I used to, because I honestly wasn't sure. I'd be like, "Can I not?"
Right.
And they're like, yeah,
Are
yes.
you going to reverse this transaction and take back the item I bought? But often I'll just give a fake phone number if I can tell it's somebody that, you know. Actually, no. For the most part nowadays, I say, "Oh no, thank you," and it's fine. Anyway, games.
Well, you steal most of the things that you own, right?
GameStop, just candy bars. I do remember though waiting in line at GameStop because I had pre-ordered a Wii. Remember we had a Wii when we were roommates?
Yeah.
Like when we first became roommates. And that I remember like having to wait in line for the store to open, and everybody was walking by laughing at us. And I was like, why is everybody laughing? This isn't, I don't know, I'm waiting in a line for 10 minutes for something. It's fine. And then the guy in front of me kept talking about how cool it was going to be to play Zelda and talking about the sword. And then he was pretending he had the sword and talking to another character in Zelda. And I was like, all right, I can see why people are making fun of everybody in this line now.
Tom, I remember you pre-ordered the Wii. And we were roommates, and we had there were 4 of us living in an apartment.
Yeah.
And we were all like, yeah, sure. Great.
It was like our own version of the real world.
It was. And then I was, I guess I was I wasn't the Puck. Maybe I was the Pedro, the beloved.
Get the hell out of here. I was the Pedro.
What? Everybody loved me. I was a kind soul. You were Muhammad. You were barely ever on camera.
Yeah, that's true.
You were out of there.
Yeah.
Every once in a while,
Yeah, I
like
played
every
it
third
smart.
episode, Muhammad would come in and be like, "Hey, I'm a beat poet," and you're like, "Oh, I forgot about this guy. That guy
Yeah,
just
he'd be
doesn't
like,
hang
I'm
out
just
at the
picking
real
up my
ones."
mail. See you later, guys.
Yeah, he was smart.
Yeah.
But I remember everybody, like all of our roommates, we all laughed at you, and then you
guys
got
were
it.
always
You were really excited.
bullying me.
But then you didn't. You fool! You goddamn fool! You didn't buy enough controllers, and we
Yeah.
had to run all around New York City. Do you remember we went to the Nintendo store at Rockefeller Center?
Yeah.
And they didn't have anything, and then we wound up at the Toys R Us in Times Square, and we had to pretend like we didn't realize we were cutting that whole big line.
Yeah, we
of
cut
people.
a huge line.
Yeah,
But in
it's like
fairness
people-
to us, we were just trying to buy some controllers. We weren't, buying a system or whatever.
yeah,
They had
There
plenty,
were
of controllers.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I tell
What we
myself.
ourselves.
Yeah, but to go back to what you were saying about GameStop, I was going to say too, anytime I've been in a GameStop, everybody there seems 100% miserable. And actually, I'm remembering like the last time I went in a GameStop, I think I had time to kill. So I went in and just walked around. And while I was in there, somebody shoplifted and just grabbed a bunch of stuff and ran out. And then the other time I was in there were a bunch of cops in there, and I was like, what happened? They were like, the place just got robbed. It got stuck up. And like, this is right in Union Square, Manhattan, like, a well-trafficked area, like not a good place to like do a stick up with. Also, there's like 5 banks connected to that GameStop. I don't know why they were sticking up the GameStop of all places, but it's like, yeah, this seems like hell. These people, like I said, all the employees seemed 100% miserable. And I was surprised they were even that happy, because it's like, oh, you're in this store that seemingly gets robbed multiple times a day. And meanwhile, you just have to try and push like warranties and game club memberships on people and try and get them to sell games back to you that are not, for a tenth of what they're worth. I think also a lot of times they would pretend to be out of new games. So they would be like, oh, we're all out of that game, but we do have it used for $55. And it's like, are you really out of this game? I don't think you're out of this game. I think it's just you're trying to sell the high margin item.
Well, Tom, I don't. To be clear, unlike you, I don't blame the people who work there for being not excited. I'm sure it's not a
that's
great
what you
place to
said
work.
earlier. You said that they didn't want you there, and I was like,
Yeah,
well,
no, I feel like they didn't want
but
me
when
there.
I went in there, I'm not a narcissist, so I'm not thinking that everybody is thinking about me and looking.
Yeah,
at
you just
me.
thought they were bad people.
I just thought they were miserable people. They looked miserable, but again, I think that's because they were understandably miserable. Do you
wanna solve
remember?
a problem?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember Funko Land? But let's solve a problem.
No, you want to talk about Funko Land?
I don't know if I have that much to say about Funko Land.
It was another place where you could buy used video games.
Yeah, it's also a ripoff. Let's solve a problem.
Hello and welcome to Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
We're going to solve a problem. If you have a problem you'd like us to solve, you can email us at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com.
You can also email us there for stock tips.
Yeah, I don't think we made this clear at the beginning of the episode. This constitutes stock market advice, investment advice.
Yeah, this episode does constitute investment advice.
Yeah, we encourage you to take. Did we even say anything other than like I don't understand why, but I think the stock market's bad.
No. Well, I did say that I thought if you short GameStop now, that's probably a good idea. But I don't take that advice. I'm sure there is something in there that's going to prevent you from making money doing that.
Yeah. If you're a regular person.
I was going to say, actually, my real stock market advice is just invest in index funds, unless you're like rich enough to have a money manager, like day trading and doing all that stuff. Or if like there's a company you really like and you want to invest in them and you think they're going to do well. Like you were telling me, you recently made a nice chunk of change off Roku.
Yeah, I bought one share of Roku like 2 years ago because it's like I always buy whenever I need a new streaming device. Yeah. I always just go out and buy a Roku. Mm-hmm. I spent $30. Tom, thing was worth $430 yesterday.
Yeah. So I think that's good advice. Like if you like a company and you know a lot about the company and you're like, well, I mean, in this case, if you're spending, $30, whatever. But yeah, if you're looking to like really invest in the stock market, like put a significant amount of money in there, do an index fund, do one of those types things.
You know what?
Because otherwise, these other people, they're gonna screw you. Their entire job is to rip you off.
That's the thing that is insulting though, because like anybody who like works on Wall Street or does anything, they're always like, all right, regular people.
Yeah.
You don't understand this. So, yeah, just stay out of this. But by the way, you should be putting 10% of your income into this.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't understand how this works. Leave that to the professionals. But,
people don't understand because
But rely on it for your retirement.
Yeah. They don't understand because people, these people have set up a complex system that they can continuously game.
Yeah. Tom, this problem comes from a lady named Bobby, Bobbie.
Well, now I've heard everything.
The subject is, use Bobby as my fake name because girls named Bobby are cool, LOL.
Yeah, like Bobby Pins.
Yeah. Like Bobby Darren.
That I bet that's like a I was gonna say a ventriloquist, but I meant burlesque, like a burlesque name, Bobby Pins.
You know what I don't miss about pre-COVID times? The fact that like it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go, like somebody's like, you want to go to a comedy show, and you're like, cool, and then there's a comedian, and then they're like, and now that was just the opening to a burlesque show. That's happened to me like numerous times. I've got swindled into going into a burlesque
you're
show.
friends with a lot of perverts.
Yeah. Hey Tim and Tom, I've been re-listening to past episodes and realized that your guys' humor has rubbed off on me. So I guess I have the same humor as late 30-year-old guys now. LMAO, JK, love y'all. I've been listening for
It doesn't sound like she does.
3 years, so I guess you guys are pretty funny, so I must be pretty funny too.
That's not how math works.
Anyways, for my question for your advice segment, it doesn't seem like Bobby really knows too much about the show here. Perhaps I should have vetted this problem a little bit better. I think I want to get into a relationship now, but I don't want to go online dating like my peers. I'm in my early 20s. Also, I don't want to date any of my coworkers because it'll be weird if we ever break up.
Right.
I'm also an introvert, so I don't like going out even pre-corona times. I don't even like to go out and hang out with my friends. Obviously, it'll be hard for me, so what should I do instead? Additional info you might need in solving this: I'm a heterosexual girl, went to an all-girls school since preschool up to high school, never had a boyfriend or been in a fling. I'm pretty talkative, though, so if you walk up to me after corona times and don't give off a bad/dangerous vibe, I could probably chat/carry a conversation with you well. Hope you didn't accidentally say my name or email address. LOL. Stay safe. Bobby.
I think she'd be thanking us if we said her email address. Maybe she would get some potential suitors.
Yeah.
That would have been...
It's, you if you saw what her email address is, Tom, it's the I can't make heads or tails of it. I can't even say this.
Okay.
It's the longest email address I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, you missed your chance at getting some free creeps in your inbox.
Now, let's assume this is advice for post-COVID.
Yeah, I was going to say, if during COVID, you don't have options, or you have limited options.
Especially if online is not your
thing.
I don't know how to find somebody to go on a date with. Let me preface this by saying I don't know the answer to the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. That you're excluding the top three.
Well, coworkers is a bad idea.
Yeah, but it's a popular idea. Like, it happens, you know?
But I don't know of any time that it's happened that it is stuck for a long-term good situation. I mean, for anybody that I know.
Yeah, I know some people that's happened for, but I'm saying,
no,
like, yeah, I do, Tim.
Who?
I'm not going to say their names, because what if they're in the midst of getting a divorce?
So it doesn't work out, is what you're saying.
Well, and I'm not even saying work out. I'm just saying that, like, that is a popular way to find somebody to date. Whether it's a good idea or not, it is
we shouldn't be advising bad ideas.
Look, I'm just saying it's a very common way.
I don't think it's very common. I don't know of many people that have dated coworkers.
Well, you don't know very many people then.
I know so many people, Tom. You're the antisocial one. I know a lot of people. I'm gregarious. I'm fun. People like me.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's just because you think, wearing a mask is infringing on your freedom and you should still be able to go to bars and be social. And Tim, I'm sorry, I disagree.
Watching Joe Rogan and mainlining supplements all day.
But I mean, between like meeting people at work, meeting people at a bar, and meeting people through friends, and did I say online? Yeah, I said online, right?
No, well, you didn't, but
I don't know how else you would meet, unless you're just counting on meet cutes.
Yeah, go out there and I don't know, carry around pies, and then maybe you'll accidentally walk into somebody with a pie, and you'll have to go. Like,
they'll be furious, Tim. If somebody walked into me with a pie, first off, I'd be like, "Were you trying to throw that pie in my face? What is this? Some kind of a clown routine?"
Well, maybe they like a clown routine.
But even if it was just an accident, I would still be real mad. I was going to say carry a bunch of books and walk into somebody, or just papers, files, and go, "Oh, my files."
This is what you have to do. You have to put your hair up and wear glasses too.
Right.
And then when the meet cute happens,
after you've bumped into them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've talked for a few minutes and it seems like maybe they're losing interest, or they're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm married."
Yeah. It's a meet cute with a twist of a she's all that to spice things up.
Right. You can't. What man could resist a meet cute?
Yeah.
With a she's all that twist at the end.
You should own a pie shop though. Cuz that's quirky.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have some quirky traits.
Mhm.
Maybe like a weird dog.
Mm.
Too quirky.
Not too quirky. It's just a weird dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if any guy who's like, if I really want to, what I'm really looking for is to settle down with a girl with a weird dog.
She's not even saying, well, I guess she is saying not necessarily settle down, but like get in a relationship.
I want to get into a relationship.
Yeah, she's not looking for a one-night stand.
Right.
Which again, I don't think is really possible safely in these times.
Right. Or anytime.
I think but how do you do a meet cute during a pandemic?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna shut yourself off to online dating, there's no place to meet people right now because you're not supposed to be having a conversation.
What if? she always has a pie resting to cool on her windowsill.
No, then she's gonna get a bunch of
Hobos.
yeah,
Hobos coming to
not
steal
even
her
hobos.
pies.
I don't think hobos so much as just like gluttonous folk.
Oh.
You know, because like it's like you know,
like, a pie.
yeah, exactly. It's like I'm entitled to this pie. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
come on,
entitled.
man.
It brought me over here floating by my nostrils.
Yeah.
So now I deserve to eat it.
Guess what? He's going to be more interested in the pie than he is in Bobby, and then that's going to be a whole problem.
Well, I was going to say, I'm thinking Bobby lives in an apartment, not on the first floor. And you could always have the pie resting, but then you see a cute guy, you tip it, and it knocks over on his head.
Tom, but you said that would make you furious.
Not
You're
if
contradicting yourself.
Look, I'm trying to satisfy you. You seem hell-bent, I don't know if it's a fetish or what, but on, somebody getting a pie smushed into them. So I'm just trying to accommodate
I said it
you.
once like 6 minutes ago.
If you have a problem you'd like us to solve, you can email us at thecompleteguide@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, check out patreon.com/completeguide for Books the Podcast. This week we're wrapping up, right?
Grinding It Out by Ray Kroc.
The co-founder of McDonald's, his autobiography. Patreon.com/completeguide.
You didn't listen to any of the lessons I've been teaching you, huh? The co-founder of McDonald's? What does that mean?
What? Well, he wasn't the McDonald's brothers.
Yeah. So he's either the founder or he's not the founder.
All right, he's the founder.
He's not the founder, though.
Patreon.com/completeguide. You get that and all the back episodes of Books the Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/completeguide. You can follow us on Twitter @completeguide. You can follow us on Instagram @TCGTE. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @Tom Reynolds.
And you can follow me at Your Pal Tim, and be sure to report all those ads as spam or sexually explicit.
Same thing with Tim's post.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Well, if getting kicked off Instagram is what gets me off of Instagram, I'm fine with it.
Tim, I did not buy a share in GameStop, but I did buy a share in AMC, which was the new GameStop. And then
we got screwed. I did the same.
Yeah. And then afterwards, though, I even thought, I don't want AMC to fail. I don't care if GameStop fails. GameStop's destined to fail. I don't want those people to lose their jobs, but right. GameStop's destined to fail. But AMC hopefully is not destined to fail. Hopefully we still have movie theaters after all this is over.
I love AMC, and I want to see them succeed.
I do wonder a little bit now that I've watched Wonder Woman 1984, this whole HBO Max, we're going to put the movies out the same day as Warner Brother theatrical releases. If Warner Brothers didn't watch all their movies coming out this year and go, ugh, maybe we should just put these all on our streaming service. Because if Wonder Woman 1984 is anything to go by, these movies were not going to save the movie industry.
Well, here's the thing. There's been 1.5 DC movies in the universe that people actually liked or that were actually good.
It depends on who you ask. Some people really like Birds of Prey.
Right. You didn't, because you don't like female-fronted movies.
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. Yeah, I thought it was probably one of my favorite DC movies. DCEU movies, that is.
Tom, they got Space Jam coming out. They don't.
Yeah,
they don't
you
wanna...
think that new Space Jam is going to be good?
Why not?
I don't know. I think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be like a simultaneous nostalgia play for the original Space Jam coupled with oh, look, it's Bugs Bunny dancing the floss. Remember that? But not remember that when we animated this movie 3 years ago. That was the big thing, and now it's too late to change it.
Yeah, but that's what all movies are now.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe AMC should die too.
Why?
If this is what movies are going to be, if I have to watch Bugs Bunny up on the big screen flossing.
That's hilarious.
It is pretty funny. I would like to see
Talking
that.
bunny, and then he does the dance that the backpack kid made.
I'd like to see that on the biggest screen possible.
Let's short IMAX next.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.